Here's the main power switch.
These seem to be in really good shape too.
So,
Yep, main power, and then here's the on-off switch. So now this, you can tell it's your settings that come up up here, and so then we would just hit, this is the prime and tune screen.
Pack not detected.
So we'll put the pack in and do that, but your settings are all the same ones that you had up in Monticello. The connectors, so the VIT handpiece is going to connect into this one. Cautery is going to go into this one, and then this is the handpiece receptacle.
Okay, perfect.
So in terms of cautery, this is not bipolar. I'm wondering if you have the little clamps. Do you need to use cautery down there?
Oh yeah.
Okay, okay. So I don't know if they took some of that stuff off, and some of the accessories maybe are packed in a box.
So this is not...
That would not be, you need, there's a little clip, coaxial clip that plugs in here. And then,
I see that.
and then you'd have, if you have bipolar cords, then this is the adapter that would go in here, and then you could plug in a bipolar cautery cord. When is your trip, Dr. Yancey?
It is...
Here, when we want to unlock it, we just hit that clip like that. So I'll put this up like this. And then these are the packs that you have. So that's what those are. And then here's, have a handpiece. But, so we have the GUI, here's the IV pole. We have the cord in here. That's just patch.
This is storage.
Yep, storage. So the cord can go in there, like when you ship it, you could do that.
Oh, okay. So the power cord?
Yeah. Oh, the power cord or the foot pedal cable.
The propel.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
got it.
yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and put this in. So here's the pack. So we pull this out. That's the consumable. We have a test chamber.
Okay.
And then we have an instrument tray cover.
Oh, nice. All
Yep.
in the pack.
Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah, so all that stuff comes in it. Instrument tray cover, and then there's a screen cover.
Got it.
Which, it's up to you if you want to use that or not.
Just put it on and show how it works.
Yep, so this comes in the pack. You know, probably the easiest way to put it on. See how it's so kind of short in the back right here? But if you just drape it over like this.
Oh, nice.
So that goes right over.
Perfect.
Yeah. And then here is the instrument tray cover.
Yep, and it just goes on to the tray. And we're not going to do it now because it's...
Yeah, we don't have to do it right now. It says there's cuffs right here. So if you look, position left hand, and then you just sneak it under here.
And this is the...
And then this would come just like this.
You got it caught up by the tape here.
Yeah. So just so you know how it goes on and what's in there.
Perfect.
And I always like to pull this out. And it kind of gives you a little catch basin. I think the tape's holding that in maybe.
Oh, yeah. I understand.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then it's sterile, and then we pull the cassette pack. So it looks like this. It's a teacup handle. Bag goes on the bottom. And we put this in, and then just push it straight in.
Okay.
Like that.
Pack loaded. Thank you.
So it's telling us the pack is loaded. So this will come up. This is what the handpiece is going to hook up to. And then we spike the BSS bottle.
Do we have some BSS? Or?
Yeah, I brought a bottle of BSS
Oh, good.
too.
Perfect.
Yep. So we'll do this. And so this just hangs on here. And go ahead and spike it. I like to put a little fluid in here. So you can tell this is seated properly. There's a blue light on here.
Got it.
Okay.
That only comes on when it's seated right.
Yep, exactly. So, and then here's the handpiece. So I don't know what tips you have, Dr. Yancey. This is preloaded on here. I'll take it off just so it can. So this is called a Phaco wrench.
Yep, I think I have a few of those.
Yep. And then the tips, we'll just use this tip. But you can preload it onto the wrench like this. And then we put it on the handpiece.
Well, here's a good question for you.
Yep.
Can you use the hand pieces from the compact Sovereign on here?
You can't unless they say whitestar on it. They might, we'd have to look at the serial number. If it says SOV and then a serial number, it's specific to the Sovereign. If it says whitestar, I think you could use that one on here. Yeah.
All right.
But otherwise, these say Ellipse FX on it. So what that means is the movement that we get side to side.
Yep.
These hand pieces do that. And for denser cataracts, which I'm sure you see.
Does this machine, does this do the ellipse and
Yes.
everything?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it does. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that's what they have. Or had at Monticello. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks familiar.
Yeah.
Again, I'm taking those separately, just because.
Oh yeah, because
I want to make
well,
sure
they get crystals in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're. I mean, if the crystals crack or something, then they're useless. So, but yeah, this is a tip and sleeve that's preloaded in here.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if you have boxes of these. I'm sure you have.
I think
they
we got
probably
a
had a lot left over.
Yep.
But so this pack would have a tip, and then a Phaco sleeve.
Like the little blue or purple.
Little blue or purple or yellow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it. I wonder if it's still, yeah, it's still in the test chamber. It's stuck in there. So I'll open this 20 gauge tip. It's just an extra one.
And you know, those are things that, like, we will reuse those.
Oh yeah. No, I can imagine.
Reuse it.
Yeah, it's, I mean, expired stuff, and you know, it's. So, and I think with the denser cataracts that you probably see down there, a 20 gauge tip is probably more ideal than a smaller gauge tip. Just in terms of being able to purchase and the amount of material that can go through it. But you can see this was in the pack, so there's a Phaco tip, and then
so that was in the pack.
Yeah, yeah. So if you have boxes of tips like this, that's what will be in there.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and take this blue one off. And
the yellow ones are the 20 gauge?
Yep, yellow is 20. And they come in either straight or curved. If I remember, I think you were using straight. And then you just want to make sure you tighten it, give it a little quarter turn, and then the sleeve can go right over. There's threads on here, so if you just turn it clockwise and just look for the end of the Phaco tip to come through the end of the sleeve. And then the handpiece will just plug right into this receptacle. So there's a little red dot on here. There's a red dot on here. Just line them up like that.
Okay.
And then we grab our test chamber. So we didn't open one. I might have an extra one sitting here, or yeah, here it is. Yeah.
And that came with the.
That was inside the pack. Yeah,
Okay.
the.
Whatever you open.
Yeah, whatever we.
071 or.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in here. Comes in here. Yep. So this
But the phaco tip did not come in the pack.
It came in, no, not in this pack. Yeah, these are separated out, so you'll have to pull those out separately. All right, so we'll grab the test chamber. And what we need to do is hook up. So this comes from the cassette pack, 2 connections. These can only go one way on here. So the blue aspiration line goes in the middle, and then this is the irrigation line. Will go there, and it can only go one way. And then we just pull this test chamber. I pull it down till it's even to the bottom of the yellow sleeve. That way we don't get any fluid leakage out of it, but it still has a nice tight seal. And we just lay that down, and then we go ahead and hit prime tune. So now what it's going to do is just replace all of the air in the tubing with fluid. And it counts it down so you can see the time. Takes about a minute and a half. And pretty soon we should start to see this collapse. So that's testing the vacuum. So that tested out just fine.
And the vacuum is produced by the pack.
Yeah, it's going calibrating. So on any phaco machine, there's the fluidic component, which is comprised of the aspiration or pulling fluid out, and then the vacuum, and that's the ability of the machine to create vacuum to hold on to pieces and be able to suck them in. Yeah.
But that all is generated in the pack?
Yes, correct. Okay. Yeah. And it's done via, there's 2 different pumps, peristaltic pump and venturi. And this machine has both of those pumps.
What do most people, what did I use?
You were using peristaltic, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
It would say on my...
It would, yeah. So if we... So this checked out. So we're all ready to go now.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay.
So now your settings preload on here. So if we go into your phaco settings, we have your sub modes on here. So here's your sculpt setting, quadrant, epi, and dense quadrant. So these are the settings that you had in Monticello.
Got it.
And these are all peristaltic. The way you can tell the difference is on a peristaltic machine, you have an aspiration component and a vacuum component.
Okay.
They're independent of each other. And then, of course, this is ultrasound or power. If you have a venturi setting on here, the only thing you would have is vacuum. Because the aspiration is tied into the vacuum, it's not independent. So there would just be a vacuum value. But all your settings are peristaltic.
Viscoelastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
IA1.
so this is all, that's the setup for the phaco.
Yeah.
We'd be ready to go.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Thing programmed into the foot pedal. You know, there's the right yaw component, left yaw, but so it goes, you know, sideways this way, but traditionally you'd be going just up and down on the foot pedal. And let's get out of here. So you can look up here, and right now it's on foot position 0.
Yeah.
When you go into foot position 1, see how that changed? That's where you get irrigation going into the eye. When you step down into foot position 2, you start to get the aspiration, where it's pulling fluid out. And then as you step on foot position 3, then you start getting the ultrasound. We were in IA, so that didn't come into play. But if we go into the phaco mode, you go into 3, and you can hear the handpiece.
Yep.
So that's the power.
Perfect.
And I always like to check, you can tell if the vacuum's working. So here's the vacuum. If we were to pinch this off and step down into vacuum. And we pinch it off. You can see how the vacuum builds up. Here's the preset value, and then this is what it climbs up to. So that's a sculpt setting where the vacuum's kind of low.
Mm-hmm.
But if we go into your high vacuum setting, step down into it, see how the vacuum's not building up right now?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But as you occlude a piece of nucleus, I'm imitating
Oh yeah.
an
Okay.
occlusion.
Yeah, yeah.
But you can see the vacuum building up, so we don't know that that's working. So
Okay,
everything
perfect.
seems to be working just fine. Mode is down here.
Mm-hmm.
So we would just hit that, and then it shows you how to set it up.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just step by step. So what we would do is unhook, you know, if you're an INA or phaco, you need to unhook the tubing that comes from the cassette.
Right.
And then we would hook it up to this. So this is a coaxial setup.
Mm-hmm.
So if we do that, the irrigation would go to the clear lure,
Mm-hmm.
and then the aspiration would go
Like that.
to that's also clear. I always wish they color coded this, you know, but then you could say blue to blue or what, you know, white to white. But that's how you hook it up. So if you look at the description on here, connect the tubing to the vitrectomy cutter. So that's what we just did.
Mm-hmm.
And then immerse the cutter into fluid. We don't have a med cup or any fluid here, so we don't have to do that. And then press start vit prime. So what this is going to do is just put fluid. We forgot to plug in the one end. Sorry about that.
Vitrectomy 1.
This end. Sorry about that.
Ah, where does that go?
Yeah, so this goes right here.
So that's a, it's just a,
Yeah,
basically it's all done by
kind of a pneumatic.
pneumatic.
Yeah,
Got it.
pneumatic. So you
it's
could hear
making
the.
the cutter go pneumatic.
Yeah, yeah,
Got it. Okay. Here.
yeah. So. Yeah, so then we just step down on it. So that way you can look at this, Dr. Yancey, and just make sure the guillotine cutter is going up and down.
Right.
But we're getting infusion through the sleeve,
Mm-hmm.
and the cutting probe is right here. So that would be a coaxial.
Mm-hmm.
Some doctors will do the two-handed,
Mm-hmm.
just so they don't have to fight the infusion. So there's infusion coming out, you know, right next to the port where you're aspirating vitreous.
Mm-hmm.
So they can tend to, you know, want to fight with each other.
And coaxial means you just take this off?
Coaxial, nope, that's with it on. So I use the term coaxial or one-handed.
But the two-handed one.
Yeah.
Is that just is it a different unit?
No, you can use. So I don't know if you have. This is a 20 gauge vit cutter. I don't know if that's what you have.
Yeah.
20 or 23. The 23 gauge doesn't come with a sleeve on it, so that can be used as bimanual.
Mm-hmm.
But also, on this one, you can just pull this off. See how I pulled that sleeve off?
Mm-hmm.
So then you would just take this and discard the infusion
Mm-hmm.
part of it, and then you would hook up the Simcoe
Mm-hmm.
to the infusion line instead of the sleeve that was on it.
Right.
And then it becomes bimanual.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, so if you have 20 gauge, don't worry about it. Even though it has the sleeve on it, you can just pull that off.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there are some. We had some vitrectomies
Okay.
that are, or vitrectors that
Yeah.
are like made of metal.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
So do those work with this machine or not?
That I don't know. So those are the reusable for compact sovereigns, correct?
Yeah.
That would be another Dave question. I'm 99.9% sure it will not work on here.
Okay.
Yeah, so you would have to use these.
So for vitrectomy, we would need these.
Yeah, yeah. Which there might be some depending on what you got for supply. This is just saying it's kind of like the oil change reminder
Mm-hmm.
in your car.
Yeah.
Just saying it's been a year since you've checked it, so you better check it. And I just go in and change it and fast forward it till the next year, just so that doesn't come up
Okay. Yeah.
for you.
I'm gonna watch you do it though.
Oh, okay.
Do you need some sort of special code to do it or something like
There's
that?
like a password, so.
Okay, so.
But I don't do it enough. The notes are on my.
So disassemble the machine so
Yeah.
we know what to do.
Yeah, so at the end of the case, all we do, Dr. Yancey, we just pull this out. So grab
So you
the
do
T.
that even though you don't have to like press any buttons on the screen. Or
No,
anything.
no. We'll take the handpiece out. Then we can unhook the retractor handpiece.
Yeah.
And then we just go ahead.
Press that little button
Yep.
on the top.
This comes down, it ejects it. I should have hooked these two together so we didn't get leakage. So we'll do that. I'm just getting a little fluid, but that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll leave
And then we're done. And then it.
Yep.
And it
So then
gives
it goes back to this screen, and here's what you do have to do is just hit the next case. So if you want to do a next case,
Okay.
that will get you set for the next case.
Okay. So if we were to use the same pack,
Yep.
you just have to undo it and then put it back in.
Yep. So that's what we'll do on the next machine. We'll use the same pack.
Okay. But
Yeah.
I mean, if we were having just one machine,
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah.
just take it out,
Yep.
and put it
and
back
then
in.
put it back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Great.
Back.
End case.
So this was the screen we were on.
Okay.
So if you put this back in, I'm just going to see if it's going to default to the prime screen. Oh yeah, it did.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it will automatically default, then you don't have to hit the next case on it.
Perfect.
So I'll just say, if you get a periodic maintenance message on the screen, we hit configure, and then we go in and hit system configuration, and then we hit service, and then the password is all caps service.
Okay.
So we'll do this. Enter. And then we hit service interval. So see how it ends in 2:15, 23. We want to reset the interval. So now it says 25, 2-1 of 25.
Okay. I'll be right when we get there. Let's see if you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay.
1 year.
It's a 1 year thing.
Yeah, 1 year ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. So now that message won't come up. It came up at the beginning and then once during while we were doing that.
Perfect.
Yeah. And did you get this? For wireless,
Okay.
it's trying to connect to the console. But so back to the setup screen. I'm going to unhook the phaco handpiece. Okay, so it's telling us now the phaco handpiece isn't hooked up.
So this is if we only want to do just I&A.
Yeah, so I am going to unplug this. So
Okay.
we're done with the case. Next case, we don't need the phaco handpiece.
End case.
That's my bad. So we'll plug this back in. We're starting a new case.
Okay.
Yeah, my left hand isn't quite as strong, I guess. Okay. So this was telling us we just removed the handpiece a little bit too early. But so if we don't need a phaco handpiece for the case, we're going to put the cassette in. And we have our blue and white connectors from the cassette. And we're going to go ahead and we're just going to put these two together. And we're not going to do prime tune because we don't have a handpiece to tune. We don't need that. So the middle button is prime only. So we just hit that. And what that will do is just prime the tubing with no handpiece involved. So there's no testing or tuning of the handpiece.
And then at that point, will the vitrectomy be available then?
Correct, yeah. Whether you want to use an INA handpiece or the Vitrector handpiece, then you're all set to go.
Okay.
Yeah, either one of those can be used once it's primed.
Let's see what
Yeah.
it does when it's all done.
Yeah. So it says prime tuned, I'm not sure why, but
Looks
it
like
should just say
it-
prime complete, and then
What is peristaltic what?
peristaltic drain.
What does that mean?
I'm not sure exactly what that means. There must have been a little bit of fluid in there, and it's going through and draining it.
Prime complete.
Okay.
Okay.
So
yeah.
now,
So then you would go, if you want to go into diathermy, you could do that, but if
IA would
yep,
work,
then you just go into INA.
and it's happy to do that.
Yeah.
And then VIT
Yep.
would work.
Yep.
It's happy to do that.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep. So you take the phaco handpiece totally out of the equation.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's 3 error codes.
3 error codes that could come up during the prime and tune process. One would be a loose tip.
Okay.
So it will try to prime and then test the handpiece. And when it tests the handpiece, it's going to try once. It's going to jump back up, try a second time. And if it's not rectified, then you're going to get a loose tip. It'll say, forget the number of it, but we'll just say loose tip error. So then you just have to take the test chamber off, take the sleeve off, take your phaco wrench, tighten the tip down, put the sleeve back on, and then just go through that process again. If you don't get the sleeve on all the way, and fluid is coming in, and you start seeing drips of fluid come, between the sleeve and the test chamber, it might not, when it's testing the vacuum, it might show that it's not building up enough vacuum because it's leaking from somewhere. So typically it would be coming because this test chamber isn't on far enough. So you want to make sure that this is down and even with the bottom of the sleeve. And the third error that could come up is, for example, if you set this down and this is cockeyed a little bit, this could block the tip, the phaco tip, so when it tries to check the vacuum, you'll get excessive vacuum. It's acting like it's clogged for some reason.
Got it.
So it would say up here, excessive vacuum, and then you just troubleshoot it. And most of the time, it's not that this is blocking it, but as you reuse tips, the BSS dries, or there's, fragments, nuclear fragments or something that might be in there blocking it. So
make sure it's squirted out.
Yeah, so you can either try to squirt it out, you can put it in a med cup in a high vacuum setting and try to, aspirate enough fluid to clear it out, or you can change the phaco tip itself.
Okay, that's good.
To turn it off, we just hit end case,
End case.
and then you have the option to shut down.
Okay.
And then it's going to ask you, do you really want to shut it down? Yes, I do.
And you do that before you unplug it, correct?
Correct. Yeah. It won't hurt anything if you do it once or twice. It's like your computer at home so now it's just kind of, okay, I'm done working. It's releasing all of the new air that was built up, and yeah, but now it's shut off.
Okay, and now we can unplug and
Yep.
put it away.
Yep.